mobile phones at the ports of entry. Now, Nokia had last week held a joint forum with the Kenya Anti-Counterfeit Agency and the Communications Commission of Kenya to update the public about their efforts to counter entry of counterfeit mobile phones into the country. Now, with me today is Kenneth Oyola to tell us more about this initiative. Welcome to the show, Kenneth.
Thank you very much, Liz.
I know Nokia has been having such a huge problem with counterfeits over the years, and now at least something seems to be gaining ground.
Yeah, that's true. I think one is really to thank the government, because June, July last year, a new legislation came into place that is more stricter on anybody caught counterfeiting goods. And together with this new legislation came a new body, which is the Anti-Counterfeit Agency, which is very effective, and I think quite a lot of goodwill from the private sector to help us drive our objectives.
Of course, the government comes in terms of, once they learned they're losing about 3 billion shillings in tax evasions. That's a huge amount for the country. What about Nokia in terms of revenue? How much have you been losing over the years?
Whilst I cannot share with you the specific numbers for Kenya, but I think what is true is that we measure the market share every month, and from an East African perspective, the aggregate is almost about 10% of the market share for mobile devices is counterfeit Nokia, and this is affecting us very adversely. And as a result, we realize that this is one of the biggest areas where we need to drive, because it not only affects us, but it affects consumers when they buy substandard goods, and also the government loses revenue from tax that is paid by those who do business legally.
And last week in the forum that you held, of course, you're working with CCK as well as the Anti-Counterfeit Agency. Tell us the terms of that partnership, how you're helping each other, and of course how when the campaign is going to commence.
Okay, one is to start with the last question. The campaign commences immediately, but what does this partnership mean for us? So we've been talking to CCK, because at the end of the day, they're the regulator in the telecommunications industry. CCK, why? Because we have some radical suggestions of what we think could happen, because when a phone is not genuine, the chances that the IMEI number that it has is not genuine is also true, and as a result, in the case of a security situation, that phone cannot be tracked. And we had situations in India where Nokia India partnered with the equivalent of CCK to knock off all the phones that did not have a genuine IMEI off the system, because it poses a security threat. Hence the CCK, and we are continuously talking about this. When you talk about the Kenya Bureau of Standards, I think what consumers need to know that it is not necessarily that Kenya Bureau of Standards mandate is about substandard goods. So you have, in most instances, I would say over 80%, close to 90% of all goods that are out there are, and when they're counterfeit, the high likelihood that also substandard. Hence, we're talking to Kenya Bureau of Standards. And then thirdly is the Anti-Counterfeit Agency, which now is the enforcement arm, and that's why this was set up. And we're quite excited because the level of enthusiasm and the number of raids that have happened, both at the ports and hopefully soon at the retail point where consumers are being hoodwinked. Hence, that is why we're working in a tripartite agreement to make sure that we drive the reduction of counterfeit goods.
All right, 6% is a huge number. So what kind of protective measure do you have for the consumers? Say maybe I went into a shop, I did not know it was a fake Nokia phone. Are you going to compensate them?
That's a good question. I think our anti-counterfeit plan is three-pronged. One, there's an acute realization that one is from traders' perspective. Most of the traders do not know about the new legislation that has been put into place. So hence we want to create awareness, and last week we were in Kisumu meeting about 300 retailers from the western region. We're going to be in Mombasa end of this week to create that awareness among the traders. The next phase of that will be awareness among the consumers, whereby we tell them, number one, this is how you tell what is a genuine device and not a non-genuine device. Then third, of course, will now be the law enforcement, whereby we will go to get Nokia together with the anti-counterfeit agencies are going to go after those who are caught counterfeiting, because they have been warned. Because remember, the retailers are our partners and the consumers are people we know. So regarding this, I think to just pinpoint for consumers who are listening, our research shows that 50% of consumers go buying a counterfeit device knowing it is a counterfeit. The other 50 are gullible, and retailers are taking the opportunity to hoodwink them. So first we want to create awareness for both parties so that at the end of the day they know.
All right, so who gets fined? Say maybe as a consumer I have a Nokia M8 which is counterfeit. Do I get fined if I'm found with it? Or a trader, as a trader who is selling Nokia phones, what happens to them?
Okay, the two people who are targeted with the fines, and I'm going to share a bit about the fines in a short while, is One is the distributors, meaning these are the people where they go to China or wherever it is that they go to and bring the counterfeit goods, meaning they're benefiting from an intellectual property right that is held by Nokia. Two would be the traders who are also benefiting because in selling this they're making money, and a couple of them are aware and others are not aware. But remember, ignorance is no defense. So at the end of the day, these are the two people who are affected. The third is a consumer, whereby if somebody sold to you a phone claiming it was counterfeit, you can go and make a complaint. Today you can go to the Anti-Counterfeit Agency. You can also go to the Kenya Bureau of Standards, who claim up until today they receive almost 2 complaints on a daily basis from people who go there thinking that they have not they bought a phone thinking it was a genuine Nokia, and yet it wasn't. And this affects us most because we're the market leaders in this part of the world.
All right, I'm sure this comes also in stride with Nokia being dominating a huge percentage of the African market. But now, what are you doing in terms of Sony Ericsson came back to the Kenyan market just last year, and now we have TMS numbers, the research group that released China phones are actually really picking up. Are you guys scared?
That's an interesting one. I think another development which I would attribute to seeing a couple of the device manufacturers coming back into the market. We always say Africa is not for sissies and the market is tough for this part of the world. Yet Nokia has stayed on through the years. One of the key things that happened 1.5-2 years ago, the Minister for Finance removed VAT on mobile devices. As a result, the market became open, and today I would tell consumers, if before you'd go to Dubai to buy your phone, the prices here are the same as the prices in Dubai because there's no VAT element. So we welcome competition, and it will be interesting seeing that we as Nokia in it for the long haul. If anything, we're investing more in this part of the world.
All right, there's some mobile trends that had been released earlier last week that most of the Kenyans prefer using mobile phones in terms of their day-to-day lives, in terms of sending emails. They prefer doing that using their mobile phones. And to manufacturers of phones, maybe say Nokia, there was something that you need to come up with new applications. What do you have to say about that?
That's interesting, Liz, because I think we started on this campaign 2 years ago when it didn't make sense. So many Kenyans today, for example, have email accounts, but nobody went out at them encouraging them to sign up for an email. Nokia 2 years ago went out telling people, we got Ovemail. You can sign up on an your Ovemail account for the first time on a mobile phone that is costing, then it was 1680, which costed less than 1,500 or so. So we trailblazed in that. And of course, the more interesting bit is about applications. So today, Nokia has Ovi Store, for which you can go in there and access so many applications, from business productivity to personal enhancement to entertainment. And we're seeing a really big upside to this. Before I came here, I noticed a tweet mentioning that the Ovi site has reached 5 million downloads a day. So Kenyans are going in there, and the majority of phones that they have are Nokias today, and they are enjoying these services, which is a great news for us.
And is this because most of the phones now have become more affordable even to the common mwananchi?
Yes, I think that's an interesting statement. I think with technology, I mean, if you bought a TV 5 years ago, you go look at the same price, it comes down. The pricing in technology always goes south. But of course, the person who goes to launch a device first knows that either make money earlier on, then the price goes down. So we're seeing more and more people. A year and a half ago, when we did a dipstick with our partner Safaricom of what are the number of connections of GPRS enabled, meaning able to access the internet, was 1.5. I think a short while ago, the numbers I saw was 4 million people, and going upwards very, very strongly. So prices are becoming more affordable, and we're bringing to consumers affordable phones like the Nokia X201, which is part of the anti-counterfeit campaign that we're driving, telling people that, listen, the services you want are now more affordable.
All right, and maybe finally, regarding going back to the forum that you had last week on the anti-counterfeit campaign, you said you will identify certain outlets. Does that mean some people will be rendered jobless?
No, I think what we're trying to say here, Liz, is today if you go downtown and people talk about Luthuli, you will find a couple of retailers for whom we're partnering with, and the Nokia investment by no means is very huge. But what we're saying is consumers are asking us, show me a place where I can buy a genuine device. So today, I can comfortably look at the consumers in the eye and tell them, if you go to any network operator stores, which would be Ustore, it would be Orange, it would be Airtel, it would be Safaricom, you can be sure that the phone you're buying from there is genuine. Now, part of the campaign we're rolling out over the next couple of weeks is we're going to put a certification mark for the retailers that we know are not dealing in grey or not dealing in counterfeit, because a couple of them are dealing some genuine devices and then they mix them with the fake devices and somehow hoodwink consumers. Now, Nokia has a team on the ground covering over 2,000 outlets every week. So we are saying we are able to put a thumbs up and tell consumers and create awareness and tell them, if you go to this store, you're going to get 100% genuine. And we're happy that consumers and not really consumers, but traders and retailers are lining up saying that we want that certification. Hence, in a way, we're going to separate the sheep from the goats. But I think that is the choice that we have to make as they make their choices.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth Oyola, for that insight.
Good.
Well, there you had it from Kenneth Oyola, the General Manager of East and Southern Africa for Nokia, telling us what this anti-counterfeit campaign is going to do, especially for the consumer. And now let's take a quick look at what we have for you in the business news.